tell Roger to come downstairs and stop playing dice and say hello?
Is he upstairs playing dice again?
Oh my, did I say that?
Rest in peace to this brilliant, talented, gifted, beautiful, beautiful woman. Danielle, Dr. Danielle Spencer. She actually is an actual doctor. She didn't get a doctorate, she's an actual doctor. I believe she's a veterinarian. And she literally, oh gosh. I'm going to try to get through this video. There were a handful of women during my formative years that inspired me beyond belief, that I connected with, that I saw so much of myself in. And she was one of them. Even though she was a few years older than me, she was probably the child star. She was probably the celebrity that was closest to my age that I idolized. I didn't see a lot of people my age on TV back then. I can't say, I love the Brady Bunch. But those were little white kids. And there was some TV shows like That's My Mama and Julia from the 60s, even though I wasn't born in the 60s. But there were some child stars, I guess, before that I just didn't relate to. I don't know why. I think because maybe those shows were way beyond or before my time, even though I Love Lucy, and I loved a lot of shows that came out decades before I was born. But Danielle Spencer was the first, and I can't say even Good Times, because I loved Thelma on Good Times, Bernadette Stannis. But she was older. She would have been like a big sister or a cousin. And I didn't really relate to Michael from Good Times because it was a guy. I didn't relate to guys at all as a child. I've never really could relate to men or males, especially when I was younger. And Danielle Spencer was like the first person I saw on TV that there was something about her that that really resonated with me, that I could see so much of myself in. She looked, like me, or at least how I saw myself at a very early age. And I think watching her helped me to realize that I was different. I wasn't like anyone else that I knew. It was such a lonely thing, to be 5 years old, 6 years old in the projects and in the 70s, and no one, there were no trans figures, there were no trans models that I can look to or to say that, okay, this is who I am. I literally, there were a handful of women that helped me to see me. And yes, I give props to a lot of women. I give props to females. I don't like the relationship that trans women have with biological women now. I hate it. I hate that we're always at odds. But I have to give props. And I think her passing today has helped me to really put some things in perspective. Yes, I grew up idolizing 4-5 women, including my mom. You know, I identified with them. I saw myself, especially Danielle and Kim Fields, because they were closest in age to me. Even though they were older, these are the girls that I saw in my neighborhood. These are my neighbors, the ones that I was cool with. You know, I had a chance to tell her how I felt about her about 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. And she was cool. She was friendly. I knew that she was battling a lot of health issues, but I respected her on a lot of stuff that she said. I used to follow her, and I knew that she was suffering from a lot of medical issues. And I prayed for her. And she was so nice. And I'll always love her. And I'll always respect her for what she gave me, the inspiration she gave me as a child. In some ways, she helped introduce me to me. We all are the final sum of everything that has ever impressed us. And she impressed me. She made me laugh. She made me want to be alive and thrive. She made me want to be me. After I stopped beating myself up about being who I am, I embraced it. I embraced all of who I was. And she was such a huge part of me knowing very early on who I was and who I was not. After she left, What's Happening, the TV show, I think they were on for about 3 seasons, from 76 to 79. And after she left the show, she went back to school. She went to college. She got her doctorate. She became a doctor. She got her master's, everything. And she became a licensed doctor and veterinarian. And eventually she went back to acting, but she was more accredited and she had more credentials when she went back to acting, even though it was for a short spell in the mid-'80s when they tried to revive What's Happening. And she grew up and she just grew into this beautiful, beautiful young woman. And even in those days, I still look to her as like, oh, wow, I love her. She was a great woman whose story should be told. Some of her triumphs and some of her tragedies and trauma, but mainly because of her triumphs. She persevered, and she's a great model to really live by, and she's a great person to idolize and look up to. So may you rest in peace, sweetheart. God bless you, and thank you. Thank you.